When Russia attacked Ukraine in 2022, the Western media believed that the economic sanctions they imposed on Russia would force it to surrender very quickly. Headlines from CNN, BBC, and other news channels claimed that Russia's economy would collapse within days and Putin would have no choice but to retreat. But today, even after 3 years, Russia has not only held its ground, but its economy has become even stronger. In 2023, Russia's economic growth was 3.6%, and in 2024, it reached 4.1%. Unemployment in Russia has dropped to the lowest level in its history, and despite all the sanctions, Russia earned over $220 billion in 2024 by selling its oil and gas. The most surprising thing is that despite fighting alone against Ukraine and the entire West for 3 years, Russia remains unaffected. In fact, it has even captured Ukraine's eastern and southern regions. NATO leaders, who once made big claims, are now sitting helpless, wondering why their combined economic and military power failed to stop Russia. How did Russia single-handedly defeat the entire Western world? But how did all this happen? Why didn't Russia's economy suffer despite so many sanctions? In today's video, we will discuss Russia's strategies that left the world's most powerful nations stunned. These very strategies might even restore Russia as a world superpower once again. Before we proceed, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel. This not only helps our videos reach more people, but also motivates us to create more such content. To understand where Russia stands today, we need to look back at the past. Sanctions on Russia are nothing new. Since 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, Western countries have been imposing sanctions to damage its economy and isolate it globally. Initially, these sanctions did hurt Russia's economy, and the ruble's value fell. But then came a turning point in February 2022, when Russia attacked Ukraine. In response, the West imposed the mother of all sanctions on Russia. The US, Europe, the UK, Canada, and other Western nations blocked Russian banks and froze $300 billion of Russia's reserves in Europe. Going even further, the West restricted Russia's energy sector. The US banned imports of Russian oil, gas, and coal, and Europe also began reducing its oil and gas imports from Russia. The interesting part? Europe was getting 40% of its energy supply from Russia. Initially, these sanctions did impact Russia. Oil prices soared above $130 per barrel, the Russian ruble collapsed, and panic spread across Russia. Experts predicted that Russia was on the verge of collapse. The president of the European Commission even said that Russia wouldn't survive these sanctions. But what happened next shocked everyone. Instead of weakening, Russia adapted rapidly. Its economy didn't collapse. It grew stronger. By 2023, Russia's economic growth was 3.6%, and in 2024, it reached 4.1%. Unemployment hit a historic low, and despite all the sanctions, Russia earned over $220 billion in 2024 from oil and gas exports. The most astonishing part? After 3 years of fighting alone against Ukraine and the West, Russia not only held firm, but also captured more Ukrainian territory. NATO leaders, who once boasted about their combined power, are now clueless about why they failed to stop Russia. How did Russia defy all predictions? Russia's economic resilience can be attributed to several key strategies. 1. Energy exports, the game changer. Russia is the world's third largest oil producer. When Europe and the US banned Russian oil, Russia pivoted to Asian markets, especially China and India. It offered massive discounts and lucrative deals, leading to a trade boom. By 2024, Russia-China trade reached $240 billion. India, which barely imported Russian oil before, became one of its biggest buyers, importing 1.8 million barrels per day in 2024. 2. The Shadow Fleet, bypassing sanctions. Russia also deployed a shadow fleet, a secret network of over 400 oil tankers operating outside Western sanctions. These tankers are registered under anonymous shell companies in countries with lax regulations, making them untraceable. They frequently change routes, turn off GPS signals, and transfer oil mid-sea to avoid detection. This allowed Russia to keep exporting oil to China, India, Turkey, and even some Western nations without getting caught. 3. War economy. Military-driven growth. Russia shifted to a war economy, prioritizing military production and infrastructure. Its defense budget skyrocketed to $132 billion, 6% of GDP, by 2024. This boosted industries like steel, electronics, and transportation, creating millions of jobs. Unemployment hit a record low, and Russia started producing weapons domestically instead of importing them. 4. De-dollarization, breaking free from the US dollar. When the West cut Russia off from the dollar-based financial system, Russia turned to alternative currencies. Chinese yuan, nearly half of Russia-China trade, is now in yuan. Indian rupees, billions in oil trade. Turkish lira, gold, and even barter systems. Russia also stockpiled 2,400 tons of gold as a safe reserve. 5. BRICS alliance, a new economic bloc. Russia strengthened ties with BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. By 2024, Russia-BRICS trade crossed $300 billion, surpassing its pre-sanctioned trade with the West. BRICS nations are now exploring a common currency to challenge the US dollar's dominance. If successful, this could permanently shift global financial power. 6. Domestic spending and low national debt. Unlike the US, with 100% debt to GDP, Russia's debt is just 17% of GDP, giving it financial flexibility. The government boosted subsidies and welfare, keeping consumer spending high. 70% of Russia's GDP now comes from domestic demand. Future risks for Russia. Despite its success, Russia faces challenges. Inflation, 9.2%. Rising prices could destabilize the economy. Over-reliance on war economy, long-term focus on military production may harm other sectors like IT and banking. Tech isolation, losing access to Western tech could slow innovation. Unsustainable model, shadow fleets and BRICS partnerships may not last forever. Did the West shoot itself in the foot? Ironically, Western sanctions strengthened Russia. They forced self-sufficiency, deepened ties with anti-West nations, and accelerated de-dollarization. Now, Russia is leading a new world order, one where the East challenges Western dominance. Whether you support Russia or not, one thing is clear. The balance of global power is shifting. The West's era of control is fading, and the rise of the East has begun. If you found this video insightful, share it with others. We have more such informative content on our channel. Be sure to check it out. See you in the next interesting video.